Welcome back. This summer, the National Park Service will celebrate its 100th anniversary, the milestone coming at a time of amazing success for the agency. Just last year, 307 million people visited federally protected parks and forests, with guests spending nearly $17 billion in the process, proving the National Park Service is indeed big business. Joining us right now is Tauck Land Journeys Senior Vice President, Jeremy Palmer. Jeremy, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning.
So what do these parks mean for the local communities? I mean, this is real important for families and people who are in that community.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not to put too fine a point on it, but it means everything to them, right? When, in the last 80 years, we've dealt with a lot of these individuals, and we've gotten to know them personally, and I think you can characterize these as mostly mom and pop business owners, right? They're small scale enterprise, and really they're in the business as much for the passion of passing on these priceless assets as they are the economics. So when you think about sort of disruptions in those high-level numbers, it has a real meaningful impact to them in terms of there's not really a plan B for them.
So talk to us about all of the land brands of Tauck and where they are as people try to figure out where they might want to visit this summer.
Yeah, sure. So if you're thinking about going to the national parks, not to play favorites, but I think there are two that have to be on everybody's short list, right? So first, if you go up to Wyoming and you think about the Grand Tetons in Yellowstone, that would be number one. Two, if you go south down to Arizona and Utah, if you look at the Grand Canyon and the Canyonlands, right? And when you think about this, the way that Tauck does it, we're going to start in Jackson and end up in the west, but when you think of the Grand Tetons and you think of Yellowstone, you're thinking of sort of these big blue skies, green trees, right? Snow-capped mountains. Yeah. These wonderful experiences with grizzly bears, big sky, bald eagle, all of those types of assets. And it's just an incredible, incredible feeling. And it's something that I guarantee will take your breath away, right? Conversely, if you go down to the south, this is where you see all of the sort of red rocks, these beautiful colors of Bryce Canyon, of Zion Canyon. And you get a totally different feel with whitewater rafting. But I think, if you step back and think of sort of the two things I would share with people, if that's okay. One, make sure you take your family, right? When you sit there, you stand in awe in these places. And when you have your children...
The colors are unbelievable.
Yeah, the colors are simply gorgeous, right? You can see it in your children's eyes, and they can see it in your eyes, that this is something special. These are some of the greatest places on earth, and they're in our backyard, and you're passing it on to the next generation, right? But then the second thing I would also suggest, and having done this for a long time, make sure you try and stay overnight in the park. If anybody is traveling to the parks, it's a fantastic experience. But if you can stay overnight, it's so much more intimate, it's so much more authentic, and these beautiful pieces that you're seeing out there, when you see them at sunrise or sunset, if you're standing over the Grand Canyon and you can see the sunrise with a cup of coffee in hand, it is one of the most, it gives you chills, right?
So you're saying stay at some of the hotels within the park, or you're saying camp out?
Well, both are hard to do, right? Because there's not a ton of space. You can camp out, you can stay in hotels. That's what we at Tauck try and do, is make sure that our guests stay at hotels. Right. But it is a totally different feeling. You feel so much more integrated into the environment. And as I said, the sunrise over the Grand Canyon or the moon setting over the Grand Tetons, these are things that'll stay with you forever.
And this is also a real affordable trip for people. When you consider the price of going to a park.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, look, you can go from affordable to more expensive. Really, it's up to you how you want to travel. But there are thousands of options in terms of how you want to get there.
Jeremy, thank you so much for bringing this to us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Great pictures and a great idea for families. Thank you, Jeremy Palmer.